Hey everyone, it's Jacob Olson, president of the JWU Players, and I'm here to present you with some information about the production staff for our upcoming 16th annual spring musical. Our production staff is unique in that each position is filled by an active student member of the JWU Players. So we wanted to dive into each position and kind of explain what they do and how you can be elected to one position. So let's get started. Of course, no production would be complete without a director. So, some basic information about the directing position. This member is one of two who cannot be in the show. That means that if you are the director, you can't be in the show. It creates too much of a conflict of interest. It gets way too complicated trying to block yourself into the scenes. That being said, every other member of the production staff, with the exception of one other position, which we'll get into, can be in the show. So, the director has final say in all artistic aspects of the production, but they should be willing to collaborate with production staff on all aspects of the production. Anything from set, costumes, blocking, all of those details are formed somewhat in collaboration with the other production staff members. The director is responsible for planning rehearsals and sending schedules to the cast in advance, setting periodic off-book dates for the cast, meaning the days that you, as a cast member, should be completely memorized. The director also blocks scenes with the assistant director and will block scene changes with the production manager and set designer. The director is also responsible for collaborating on schedules and artistic direction with our adult vocal and dance instructors. These are the only two individuals that the production staff members will work with who aren't students of the club because of the skill set that they offer. That's something that we just don't always have. The director will also collaborate with the already existing executive board on major decisions that will affect the club. This primarily pertains to financial things. They'll also set the show budget with the club treasurer and the production staff, and act as a mentor to the assistant director to ensure continuity of production staff over the coming years. Every director needs a right-hand person, and that is the assistant director. They'll collaborate with the director on casting and blocking, serve as the second in charge or left-hand person to the director, learn the ins and outs of being a director, like I said again, that continuity of the club, and collaborate with production staff on all aspects of the production. The AD will also plan rehearsals with the director, manage attendance, and act as a liaison between the cast and the director. Our third position is the producer. This person manages shadow pairs, which we'll get into what that specifically means shortly. They'll work with the secretary to reserve rooms for rehearsals, places like Schneider, regular classrooms for dance rehearsals, anything like that. They'll also create the program for the production, which is that little book that the audience members get to see, and make sure that the budget is followed and track the spending of the production. Our next position is the production manager. This is that second position I mentioned that cannot be in the show. And the reason for that is that they are managing so many technical aspects of the production, it would just be too much. So the production manager kind of takes a lot of different stage crew roles and puts them into one. This person will manage all technical aspects of the production and assign crew members roles like props, lights, sounds, things like that. They'll delegate tasks to the technical crew, so we have somebody running the soundboard, somebody running the light board, spotlight, things like that. It's totally up to the production manager, and things change from year to year. This person will also call the show, which means that during each of our 3 performances, they'll be seated in the booth, calling out each cue so that everyone knows when to hit what button or point the spotlight where. This person will also coordinate building days with our set designer and the director, and block scene changes with the director and set designer. Lastly, this person will collaborate with the director on lighting and overall sound design to ensure a cohesive artistic vision. Our next position is the set designer. This is a person that works with production staff to bring their show vision to life. They'll work with the director and club treasurer to develop a set budget and follow that budget, coordinate building days with the production manager, the warehouse manager from the executive board, and the director. They'll supply the director the set design to be used for blogging as soon as possible. That exact date is set by the director at a later date. This person will also collaborate with the professional university warehouse staff to make use of materials that we already own and order anything new that we may need. This person should have building experience. They should know how to obviously design a set. Working with tools is always a plus, and just generally having that artistic vision that works for making a set. Our next person or position is the costume designer. This person will develop costume designs for the entire production, and they should be able to work with people of different body types. This person will collaborate with production staff to design costumes appropriate for whatever show we're revealing very shortly. And they should also work with the director and club treasurer to develop and follow a budget. This person must be creative with items that people already own. In the Players, we're famous for shopping through people's closets, using things that they already have to save money. This person will also schedule a costume parade with the director, kind of a way for the entire production staff to see where each costume is at, maybe make some final tweaks to things. Again, this date is set by the director at a later time. This person will work side by side with the makeup designer to ensure makeup and costumes complement each other. And this person should have costuming experience. If you know how to sew or design, that is all great experience that contributes to being an effective costume designer. The makeup designer is a position that, like I said, works hand in hand with our costume designer. They should be able to work with all skin tones and potential sensitivities or allergies. They'll collaborate with production staff to design makeup looks that are appropriate for the show, work with the director and club treasurer to develop a budget and follow said budget. That one gets repeated quite a bit, very important. The makeup designer will also communicate needs to actors and work with them to determine what items they need, as well as aiding with application. Not everyone is super experienced with applying makeup, so the makeup designer should be someone that is able and willing to teach. This person will also schedule a makeup dress rehearsal or workshop with the director to go over the looks that are being created for that show and make sure that they're appropriate for the show and fit the overall artistic vision. This person will work side by side with the costume designer to ensure makeup and costumes complement each other, and they should also have makeup experience. Next, we have our dance captain. This is a person that is attending and present at all dance rehearsals, even if they're not involved in the specific number that's being choreographed, or even on stage for the show for that portion. This person should help coordinate extra practice days as necessary with the director and our professional choreographer, and should be available for actors and dancers during rehearsals to run numbers or answer any questions that might come up. The dance captain is also responsible for communicating with the choreographer on what needs work and any questions that may come up outside of rehearsal or at a rehearsal that the choreographer is not present for. Should our choreographer not be available, the dance captain will be responsible for running that specific dance rehearsal. And because of that and everything else this position entails, they should have dance experience. Now, shadow positions are something we talked about early on in the presentation. Each position, aside from the director and assistant director, because that's already an inherent shadow pair, has a shadow opportunity. This gives a chance for a new member to gain the skills and knowledge of having the position without the full commitment. And again, it helps with that continuity that we've been talking about. Any position, shadow position, is not required to attend all pro staff meetings. They typically attend every other. But again, that's at the discretion of the production staff member that you are shadowing. So let's talk a little bit about the election process and some important deadlines. October 30th, today, is when pro staff submissions open. You should email a paragraph to our secretary, Sarah, noting which position or shadow position you're interested in and why you're qualified. On November 2nd, at noon, pro staff submissions will close. The next day, pro staff voting will begin. Everyone will receive an email through the involvement network with the election and how to vote. All of that information will be included in that email once it's finalized. On November 5th, pro staff voting will close at noon, so that the following day, November 6th, the production staff can be announced. On November 16th, the club is hosting an audition information session with the production staff to let the club know more about the show, more about our audition process, and to introduce them to the production staff that they'll be working with closely. It's worth noting that for shadows, you do not have to write a full-blown paragraph about why you're qualified to shadow somebody. Rather, we would like you to list 2 positions that you would like, obviously your first pick being the first one listed, and then the producer will manage those pairs. So that news will come a little bit later than the actual production staff announcement. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out to our secretary, Sarah. Her email is included on this PowerPoint, and she will also be the one emailing you this video with all of the production staff information. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I hope to see everybody running for production staff and creating an amazing show. Have a great day.